Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. The scam of FTX goes further than we know. And in fact, it is now become known that SBF and his evil co-conspirators, mainly his co-founder and his head of engineering, stole 1.5 or over $1.5 billion from the company itself. Now, technically they took a loan, but we all know what that means. There's got to be a crime in there. Financial fraud, folks. Financial fraud 100%. Now we just have to hit him back in the United States to actually prosecute him. They're still prosecuting him in the Bahamas right now, and I'm not really sure what's becoming of that. Because remember, the Bahamas technically do have full jurisdiction over SBF rather than the United States because FTX's main branch, their digital markets branch, is actually located in the Bahamas, not in the United States. So basically, we look at FTX's bankruptcy filing, and basically we see that Sam Bankman-Fried, once again, remember, if you are investing in a company, if you look at the name Bankman-Fried, that means he's a bankman and he got fried. You probably don't want to invest with someone with that name because it's a ill portent for things to come if he's a bankman and he got fried. So he received $1 billion personal loan from 4 silo companies. Now, FTX was actually consisting of 4 silo companies. Only one of them was actually duly audited, and I think that audit kind of sucked as well. So basically, if you look at their Chapter 11 filings, which are actually public, basically, Alameda Research, Alameda and its subsidiaries consisted of 1 full silo, but they loaned $1 billion directly, personally, to Sam Bankman-Fried. The director of engineering also received a $543 million loan from the company. So these FTX silo companies loaned $1.543 billion to Sam Bankman-Fried and the director of engineering. Scam right there. Besides, this is from Cointelegraph, but it's been reported at a lot of other news agencies as well that cover crypto because the filings are actually public right now. So basically, the guy who's actually taking over for the liquidation or what they call restructuring. Restructuring generally in this case means liquidation. Ray III, he is basically the guy that had to clean up Enron after its mess, and he calls FTX thing even worse than Enron. He calls the whole thing just a complete sham. And I think Gary Gensler might be implicated in this because he met with Bankman-Fried and he didn't pick this up in all the meetings and looking at FTX and SBF beforehand. So basically, what this guy is saying is from compromised systems integrity to faulty regulatory oversight abroad. Now, the abroad oversight is hard to pin on Gary Gensler because remember this company is in the Bahamas and the U.S. SEC does not regulate the Bahamas, obviously. So the concentration of control in the hands of a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated, and potentially compromised individuals. Compromise is the word we want to look at because they were definitely compromised. And when we say a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated individuals, we mean the dudes that were actually living in that penthouse in the Bahamas. So basically, from everything from accounting, cybersecurity, everything was corrupt. And like we said, 4 silos make up the FTX group, and every one of them were controlled by Bankman-Fried. So even though Carolyn lost the money with Alameda Research, Sam Bankman-Fried had the final say to basically everything, and he is 100% guilty of everything that has actually happened. With these kind of statements from the restructuring person or the liquidator, it would be surprising if Sam Bankman-Fried didn't get any time in jail or faced any kind of criminal charges, assuming that we can even get him back in the United States. If the Bahamas lock him in jail for life, I'm perfectly fine with that as well. So basically, they said the FTX group did not maintain centralized control of its cash. Sam Bankman-Fried basically had full control of that. And they paid insufficient attention to the credit worthiness of banking partners. But, that's kind of like a toss away statement because, they were a scam through and through. So they're probably not going to pay too much attention to that. like I said, only one of the 4 silos have undertaken a reliable audit, and the rest of them weren't. And that one was not Alameda Research, which loaned the $1.543 billion to SBF. And like, it's laughable how they did some of his accounting. Basically, like some of the employees of FTX, their payment requests were submitted through an online chat platform. That is laughable. I mean, like, heck, you know, when I hire people on Fiverr, I go through more like official channels than that, and I'm only paying them $5, and we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars here. So basically, the custody was also in disarray, which means like they didn't take care of the money at all. Basically, like Bankman-Fried and Gary Wang controlled access to all the crypto holdings in the main business, and there were a lot of unacceptable practices. Basically with like unsecured group email account and confidential private keys. So basically, essentially like they handled funds for a lot of big clients. And the thing is like none of these big investing firms really sniffed this out either. So I don't think you can really blame influencers like Tom Brady or like, you know, anyone else besides SBF, because it seems like no one that invested hundreds of millions of dollars into them really sniffed this out. They basically hid everything, and they did all these unacceptable practices, which led to a complete and utter collapse. And the thing is, like, the debtors carrying out bankruptcy proceedings right now only secured a fraction of the digital assets they hope to recover. So obviously the money isn't actually there. So like cold wallets containing 740 million of cryptocurrency assets have been obtained, but it's not clear which silo the funds belong to. But remember, they have a whole of $8 billion. So the thing is, like, everything was scam about this. And most damning of all, Sam Bankman-Fried and his chief engineer basically siphoned $1.543 billion from the company. What kind of jail time does that deserve? I don't know, but I'm going to guess it's a whole lot. So that's the depth of the scam right now. We'll talk about this on the stream. That's probably already happened by the time you've seen this video. You can check that out, but that's just kind of like an overview of how depraved this company really was, and that no one, not the regulators, not the people that invested hundreds of millions of dollars into them, not anyone had any idea it was this bad. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.